What's up, guys? So this video is going to be about the 3-year body transformation I've undergone from 2018 to 2023, so about 3-4 years. I'm going to talk about what exactly I did to achieve that body transformation. So we have the picture from me from 2018, and then we have a couple pictures from 2019. Then I'm going to show a picture of me currently. I'm going to discuss what I did to achieve those results and what you guys can do to replicate those results, essentially. So the number one thing I started doing, see, in 2019, 2018, I started going to the gym 2 hours a day, and then I would run for an hour. So I would do 2 hours of weightlifting, then an hour of cardio. And I was obsessed with this image of a six-pack that I wanted on myself. So I was like, I'm gonna work extra hard. I'm gonna put in double the time than everybody else. On the weekend, I'd go to the gym early, a couple hours before they open, and I'd run. There would be a forest preserve right next to the gym. So I would go and I'd run 8 to 10 miles. And then after that run, the gym would open. So I'd go in there and weightlift for 2 hours, just focused on developing this six-pack and developing my body. But what I realized is putting in those hard hours and grinding it out and weightlifting that hard and exercising that hard, that is like half the part. That's half the struggle. But the other half is the diet. And that's something I didn't have in check. You see, I had the weightlifting and exercising part in check. And I was even doing, double the hard work everyone else was doing. What I realized is my diet was not in check. And what I came to see is that the most important thing you can do is get your diet in check when you're looking for that physique and when you're looking to change your body, which is so hard nowadays. You see, there's sugar in like everything nowadays. It's in all these drinks, all these snacks. And so it's really hard to get your diet on point because there's all these options that are filled with sugar in today's society. And it took a lot of work and a lot of adjustments for me to understand that I had to do a massive overhaul on my diet. That means I had to cut out pop. You see, I would work out so hard and then I would drink pop, which is like the worst thing you can put in your body. It's basically liquid candy. Okay, soda is basically liquid candy. So putting that in your body when you're working out this hard is completely idiotic. Because one thing is healthy, the exercise, and then the other thing, the pop, the sugary drinks, is terrible and will negate all the effects of the exercise. So that was my first step, was cutting out sugary drinks and focusing on cutting out sugar completely. Kobe Bryant motivated me to actually take it up a level and cut sugar out of my diet completely, which was hard. It was very hard because it's literally so easily available, so readily available in everything. So you have to be like obsessed about it. You have to become obsessed with making sure to cut sugar out of your diet, and the things you put in your body, make sure they don't have sugar in them. So once I made this adjustment, because I saw I was working out so hard, and my six-pack that I was like what I was focused on the time was really toning that up and making it look amazing, basically. I kept working harder and harder at it. I couldn't get that tone look on my abs, so I was just like going crazy about it. And I realized I need to like make another pivot and pivot again until I get this right. So one thing I did was I cut out pop completely and cut out sugary drinks completely. And I started buying expensive water instead, like Voss, Fiji water, and I would like train my brain. I trained my brain like, oh, this is way better for me than the pop. This tastes better for me than the sugary soda, which it did. But the sugary soda has so much sugar in it that you think it's good for you because it tastes so good, but it's not. It's not good for you at all. So I want to make sure we understand this. It's detrimental to your health. No matter how hard I worked out, 3 hours a day, every day, 6 to 7 times a week, I was not getting the results I wanted, even though I was like maxing out on the ab machines, maxing out on the oblique machines. I wasn't getting that toned look, so I had to really go in it hard and be like, I need to cut this shit out of my diet because it's not doing anything beneficial for me. So once I did that and I cut pop out of my diet, you know what I mean? No Capri Sun, no apple juice, no sugary drinks whatsoever. So that was a hard adjustment, but it was one of the most important because when you put carbonated sugary beverages into your body, that just bloats you and you'll never get the abs or that tone look you want if you're constantly drinking soda and sugary beverages. So I cut that out, and the next thing I did was I made sure I was getting to the gym every single day consistently. I said I wanted to go 7 days a week. I would be okay with 6 days a week, but I would make sure I'm going at least, 6 days a week, staying consistent and making sure I exercise daily. So I'm building that successful habit. That's really when I started to notice things change, when I was going every single day, 2 to 3 hours working out as hard as I could, and then come home, and instead of like bombarding my body with all this garbage and this sugar, which took so long, it took years and years for me to get to this point. But instead of bombarding my body with that, I would fill my body with nutrients such as, my green drink in the morning, smoothies, stuff that is healthy for you. It has some sugar in it because it's fruit, but it's like natural sugar. It's not like added sugar from your pop or anything like that. So consistent exercise, cutting out sugary beverages and sugary drinks. And the next thing was, making sure my nutrition was in check. So when I would eat, it wouldn't be stuff like a Nutri-Grain bar with sugar in it, or like goldfish. It wouldn't be stuff like that has a bunch of sugar in it. It would be like pistachios, cashews, meat, protein, foods like that. And that's when I really started seeing, a lot of changes in my body, when I started making sure everything I put in my body had a nutritional value and wasn't just garbage. Like I didn't just indulge in it because it tasted good. I was indulging in it so it was, building my body, healing my body, and acting as a source of nutrients. And this is what a lot of us forget, we want something that tastes good and we don't really give a shit about the nutritional value, when in fact we should, because just because it tastes good doesn't mean it's good for you. You know what I mean? Unless we're talking about like watermelon. Watermelon's good and it's good for you. But when we're talking about a lot of these foods that are available, a lot of them taste good, but they're high in sodium, high in sugar, complete garbage. When you're constantly eating garbage like that, it tricks your brain into thinking, oh, that's what I want. That's what makes me feel good. But then when you stop putting that stuff in your body and stop consuming that garbage, that's when you start understanding like the nutrients in the food that are high in nutritional value are actually the things that are going to fuel you for longer. And you're not going to crash like when you eat crappy food, because that stuff is high in sodium, high in sugar. When you're eating healthy food, you're going to have more energy for longer periods of time, and you're going to be able to eat smaller amounts, and they're going to last longer, because this is the stuff our body runs on, these nutrients, not this sugar and this salt. These nutrients that are in like strawberries, fruits and vegetables. These are the things our bodies need to grow and stay healthy, not stuff high in sugar and high in sodium. And I've taken almost an obsessive view about cutting sugar out of my diet, which is like, it's very hard to have a strict diet like this, because when you're cutting sugar out of your diet, it's in like everything. So you have to be super disciplined to be able to eat the right things that don't contain sugar and sodium. And like I said, it's in everything, guys. It's so readily available that it takes a lot of discipline to be able to catch yourself and make sure you don't indulge in those things. So once I was able to get this combination right of the right exercise and the right nutrients, they work together to develop this body that's really like next level, because I put so much effort and work into it. It takes a lot of effort to get to this point. It takes a lot of discipline to develop your six-pack to this point. So, the one thing I would just recommend is, don't do it just to do it. Do it as a life choice because you want to be healthier, you want to live longer, and you want your heart to be healthy. That's one thing that I started, doing. Like, I wasn't going to do it just for superficial reasons. I was going to do it because, like, I wanted to keep my heart healthy, and I wanted to, be as healthy as possible. And when you're feeding your body this greasy, salty food, all it can do is hold you back. Like, it tastes good, yes, but it's so detrimental to your health that it really shouldn't be so readily available nowadays, but it is. So you got to take a step forward and be like, it's my life. I'm not going to eat all these options that are available nowadays. I'm going to go to Jewel and get my own ingredients and make my own food, because that is whole food and actually healthy. Whereas the other stuff is just complete junk that's going to hold you back. I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to be fat in 5th grade. I was like the fattest kid in 5th grade. So going from the fattest kid to 5th grade to like 8%, 6% body fat, that takes a lot of discipline and growth, it takes a lot of growth. So one thing I can tell you that I learned from that experience of being fat and losing all that weight is you are a lot stronger than you think you are, right? Because I was like so hard on myself. I had this like pouch on my belly and I was so hard on myself. I thought like if I just stopped eating, it would go away. And even when I stopped eating for a couple days back then in like 8th grade or 7th grade, trying to like lose my pouch, I didn't get the results I wanted, because the only way you can get the results you want is if you're exercising consistently, because the world we're living in is very sedentary nowadays and everyone's sitting down all the time, indoors all the time. So when you can understand like we're not supposed to be that sedentary, we're supposed to be moving. Like hunter-gatherers, our ancestors, they were constantly on the move, hunting and gathering, right? So we should be doing the same thing. We should constantly be getting exercise, eating foods that fuel us, not that just taste good. But once I started using that combination of exercising consistently and eating nutrients, eating the right food, meat, nuts, fruits, vegetables, they formed this like relationship where these things worked in tandem to make me really develop my body to the point that I've been working hard for the past 4 years. And now I can proudly say like I have the best six-pack. But even now that I got to this point, I'm trying to get it even more toned and even, more defined, which is even harder because, losing the weight is hard, but the hardest part is keeping the weight off and keeping your diet on point. It's all maintenance, guys. It's all maintenance. So if I can go from being the fattest kid in 5th grade to a freaking stud, so can you guys. All right. I love you guys. And remember, be grateful for the little things.